Good morning. Welcome to Vancouver Island Bushcraft. Heading off to the bivouac. I'm pretty much there right now, and I wanted to show you guys the stream. It's pretty high. I'm really glad that I built a bridge. I'm telling you that right now. And there's the bridge, and the water is right up to it. She's flowing really nicely. That would really suck to have to make my way over this thing if I didn't have this bridge. Well, that's got her. I'm over the bridge. Crazy. It's a lot of water. Yeah, I've noticed that coming in here, vegetation wise, remember I did that edible plant video? Well, at this point, the end of November, there's very little here. It's important to carry a pack with some supplies with you, that's for sure. There's still a fairly large amount of stinging nettle, and there's the Oregon grape. And that's about it. Everything's gone. Salmon berries are gone. All of the brush is gone. So if you go into the woods, you definitely want to make sure you have supplies, because you're not going to have anything off the land in this particular environment. There's just nothing. There's nothing at all. As it stands right now, actually, there's no animals around either. So you're looking, unless you gathered food when everything was plentiful and dried stuff for the winter, you'd be in a world of hurt. You know, I'm just glad I always have my pack with me. At the bivouac. It's all good. All good. Boy, am I ever out of firewood. I just got that little bit that's under there, and my firewood area is empty. I think I'll take this log apart today. Use it for firewood. There's water everywhere around here. Got a big puddle right there. I'll give you a scan of the area. This is now facing the stream. And that's flowing pretty good. Well, I started bucking some wood, and I got about, what is that, 3, 4, 5, 7 pieces. I think that's probably good. I'll maybe do a little bit later. Let's get a fire going. Okay, so I'm cutting the wood with this guy right here. This is the Siwa, what is it? SEMA 1. It's a 5880. And it's pretty challenging. The wood's thicker than the knife, so it's taking a bit of effort to do it. This is one that I couldn't split. You'll see the slit there. Tried to cut it, it just would not cut. I tried the other end. It's just that it's bigger, right? I'll go down on a knee here and show you. Okay. So hang on 1 second. I just put the knife down. There it is. Always put the knife back in the sheath. So as you can see, the knife is not as long as the wood. So when I try to baton down, it goes down to this level, and then of course I can't go any further because this is not sticking out. So definitely a little bit too thick for the knife, but I wanted to see if I could do it, and I ended up getting most of it. Just a couple pieces I couldn't get, but this is all done, and I'm gonna baton that back down to a smaller bit. But this knife's working out pretty good. But if you're going to do that, make sure that the the wood is narrower than the blade. Otherwise, of course, you're not going to be able to go any further, and your splitting will be more luck than anything else. Okay, so I processed the wood further down to smaller pieces of wood. I'm going to start it with fat wood, the fire, and I'm using the 58/88. It's the only thing I brought. I didn't bring the large buck knife or the Mora or anything like that. I wanted to see, you know, how much easier or harder it would be to process the wood, and so this is my my epiphany for bringing something that size. It's pretty good for everything, but not really good for anything. It's a great knife. I mean, full tang. I was beating the crap out of that thing. I mean, it's 100% still sharp, no issues, no damage. So, with that respect, it's a workhorse knife. But when you bring just that in the woods with you for bushcraft, and you want to process logs that are, what is that, 5-6 inches in diameter, it's not going to work. You're gonna have to bring an axe with you as well, or not use those diameter logs. So, but I was able to get it done with a lot of effort, and I was able to process quite a bit of small wood. I'll show you that. So all this wood's all been processed. It's a fair amount of it. I'm going to be starting it, like I said, with starting the fire with fat wood. So pretty good. The front of the knife, or the top of the knife right here, makes it really difficult to hit down, because I usually use my hand. I'll use my palm and I'll strike down with my palm, and as you can see, my palm is actually pretty beat up. I don't usually use a piece of wood to do the little tiny pieces. I just kind of bring it down slightly, and that was very difficult to do. But as you can see, no damage. This thing's a workhorse. I pummeled the bottom. The reason why it's shiny like that is because I scraped it so that I can scrape bark and that kind of stuff to make tinder. But it's a great knife. It's not the primary knife that I would use for bushcraft. The dual buck knife and Mora together, it does everything. It takes care of massive pieces of wood, right down to quartering them, and then when you get to the small pieces, I use the Mora, and I can shave and that kind of thing. This will do it, but it's not quite there. So that's pretty much my epiphany for cutting wood and getting it down to that from these guys. Not an easy task. All right, we got her going here. Sorry I'm not showing you like everything, but I just have my phone. I didn't bring my my GoPro, so it's really difficult to prop this thing up and show you stuff. That takes two hands. So basically all I did with this is I lit 2 pieces of fat wood and put it underneath, and that's enough. That's enough to get this going. It's not going to be too difficult. It's pretty windy today, so that's going to really help out. Although it's going to help out starting it, but it's also going to go through a fairly large amount of wood as well. So, all right, I'm going to get this going. Looks like everything's going good with it. It's all good to go. Get some coffee going. Okay, we've got some boiling water. Man, look at that wind, eh? That's something to take into consideration, I'll tell you. When you're cutting wood, probably about 3 times the amount of wood. Let that settle down. Coffee, I think. I'm using the 750 milliliter pot. I got over here, of course, I got my whitener over here, but I got powdered whitener as well, which I probably will never ever use. I got mint hot chocolate, sugar, and chocolate, all ready to go for my coffee. My wife says I'm addicted to coffee. And I say, you're absolutely right. All right. So once I fill this up, then I can make my coffee in this guy, and I'll have coffee ready to go. Sorry about the steam. Okay, that's a whole kettle's worth of coffee. Did that fill it up? You bet it did. So, you know, I make coffee all the time, as you know. All these different techniques. And I tell you, you know, doing a big pot of water and using these cloth filters to make like ridiculous amounts of coffee, especially if there's more than one person. I mean, the percolator is great, but it's labor intensive. You got to set it all up, and it doesn't make this much coffee. Like, this makes a ridiculous amount of coffee. I think so anyway. What do you guys think about, unless I bring, like, I don't know, a kettle, like a big kettle, but I don't want to bring a big kettle because that's heavy. I'm backpacking. I'm not you know, doing this at the back of a truck or anything like that. There we go. I got a good 2 or 3 cups now. Sweet. Okay, I'm gonna put this phone down so I can get some chocolate and some sugar in here, because I can't do this with one hand. All right, now that's a cup of coffee. Everything's in there. Mint chocolate. Check out the spoon. See how long this thing is? It's great. It's titanium. And it's great for the Mountain House pouches because they're so long. But I thought it was kind of a gimmick to have one of these until I started using it. It's really handy. Oh, that's good. Fire's going good. Look at that. Put some more wood on there in a second. Oh, cheers, guys. So I'm going through the fire pretty good. And what I decided to do is cut down a small dead standing about 1.5 inches or so in diameter, and start feeding the fire that so I can have a little extra of the other stuff for next time I'm here. So as you can see, I got them on top now. I don't need to baton them or nothing. The fire is nice and warm. And I'm going to use up these as opposed to these so that I have a little extra. So this is what I've saved. I got a bunch of the small stuff and about 5 or 6 of the larger ones. And so when I come here next time, I won't have to start from scratch. That's burning really nice. Well, I've moved to the big cup. I just thought I'd put the coffee all in here and just drink it out of this. That's better. Well, guys, time for some cedar tea. Be good if I take the right trail. Okay. This has rised since I got here. It's actually halfway up the log now. That's not good, is it? Yeah, that's flowing pretty good. Pick these up on the way in. Nice big cedar tree with some nice fresh cedars. What the heck? Alright, let's see if I can do this without burning my hand. There we go. That won't take long to boil at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to boil that for about 4 or 5 minutes. I got that right from the stream with no purification. So So as opposed to just letting it start boiling and drink it like I normally do, I'm going to let it boil for a few minutes. That wind's getting pretty high. I'll show you how the fire is doing. It's almost like it's being blown by a bellows. Comes a gust of wind now. I don't know if you can hear it. It's actually blowing the flames, so it's not high flames, but it's all embers. It's almost like it's a blacksmith's area. It's kind of crazy. All right, we have some boiling water with some nice tea in it. Oh, that's a nice color. Can you see the emerald green? That is awesome. Look at that. That's a beautiful color. I'm not going to be able to drink that for just a little bit because it is hot. She's ready. Oh, that's nice. That is very, very green. I'm just gonna get out of the smoke here. That's why my eyes are all puffy. I just got a big dose of smoke. I'll show you the fire from this angle. Doing really good. That wind's just keeping it up, no problem. There's no maintenance whatsoever. The cedar tea is really good for a cold day like this. You notice I got my jacket back on. It's a little chilly. I'm not making the fire too big, so I'm not using that as heat. I'm just using it as ambiance and to heat my coffee and my cedar tea. But holding on to a metal cup like this with the cedar tea keeps your hands nice and warm. I have to take my gloves off every once in a while and holding on to this. I'm not cold now. The jacket's really good. This is a really good jacket. I got this at Cabela's. Not sure what kind it is. Your typical hunting jacket, I guess. It's pretty thick, but it's comfortable. So I think I'm going to finish my cedar tea and relax a little bit with the fire. Well, guys, I think we're going to call it a day. The wind is incredible right now. So we did a great, not a review, but how good this particular knife is, and went through its paces. It did really good. It's not my favorite. I'm just one of those guys who like the really big knife and the really small knife, so that I have pretty much the best of both worlds. I'm going to let the fire die down, and then we're going to take off. I'm going to take off. I'm alone by myself. I've been looking around, and there is no vegetation. Nothing. Absolutely nothing to eat here. It's all dead. If you guys are hiking in the woods and it's November and up, got plenty of water, but no food. So you want to make sure you bring that with you. I'm going to hike out. The stream is actually over top of the first log now. It's rising pretty good. Very heavy winds. Not raining, but pretty windy. So, hey, I'm gonna let you go. You guys take care, and thank you for watching Vancouver Island Bushcraft. Let me know if you have one of these 5880 knives and what you think of it. They're great knives. They're not good for everything. That's why a big one and a small one together is my favorite. But let me know what you think. What's your favorite knife, and how do you use it in the woods for doing this batoning and stuff? All right, guys. You guys take care, and I'll leave you with a nice shot of the fire, and then that's about it.